Go.
Hello and welcome to the Bro Chat for the People podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by a public service announcement. Lost top set of gold teeth. About 4 days ago, I was working over in Charlotte County by the A to Z mower shop. I'm the Charlotte County tax collector. And in the tornado zone over there with my tree business, my top set of gold teeth fell out of my lap when I was getting out of my work truck. If you have found them, I'm offering a high cash reward. They are very valuable and sentimental to me. Please contact me by text or email if you have found them. I have also reported them lost, so if you think you'll get more at a pawn shop, you won't. They will still end up back to me. Thank you, and God bless. Alright, let's go. Alrighty. Tom, we're ready to go tonight, right? And we've got quite the show for you guys tonight.
We do have quite the show, and we got our first time returning guest to the podcast.
Oh, we just loved him so much we had to have him back.
How you doing, y'all? John back.
John DeMasi.
Second time around.
John DeMasi with us once again.
We got our MLB expert talking a little bit stuff about not MLB tonight, because, well, I mean, pitchers and catchers have reported and spring training's kind of going, but...
Yeah, they're playing games.
Yeah.
Did you know David Price gave up 2 home runs in his first pitching debut? Cause for concern?
This is all not cause for concern, but this is all I've ever feared.
No, spring training is always just spring training. And I feel like the better you do in spring training, the worse season you're going to have.
Oh, harken back to 2007 when the Lions went 4-0 in the preseason and then 0-16 in the regular season.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, we got.
Although that's completely irrelevant, but whatever.
It is. Well, I mean, come on. It's like the typical thing.
I don't know,
like
man.
Preseasons.
We gave this guy
training.
$217 million.
Yeah, I mean, it's his first game back. Whatever. He'll get into it. I'm sure.
It's everyone else's first game back too.
So.
There's still 8 home runs. What's his excuse?
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about not so much the free agent moves that have gone on, but just the kind of the results and what kind of effects they're going to have on the teams and where we're looking for. Oh, we'll talk a little politics just because we have to, and there's a debate tonight. Then we got an exciting new segment today called the Positive Spin Zone, where Danny and I have each prepared a headline or an article, and we'll have to present it to each other. And then the other one will have to put a positive spin on it. It's going to be interesting to see if it can be done.
It's going to be fun. We're just trying it out for tonight because our, Mr. Producer wants us to try some new stuff. So, honoring his wishes because he is far funnier and far more intelligent than the both of us combined, we figured it was a good idea.
Anyone should check out the website if you haven't. He puts some hilarious articles on there.
So funny.
So just go to brochatforthepeople.com.
Call me Lily.
He posts things pretty regularly and does the summaries of the podcast, which are usually much more funny than the podcasts themselves.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting right into it here, Daniel.
I've got one question for you, Tom, before we start.
All right.
Would you rather?
Sounds like a bad game to start.
This just popped in my head for some reason. Look, I just want to know your answer, and you, John, as well. Would you rather have a head the size of a tennis ball or a watermelon? This has been bugging me here because I can't decide because watermelon's pretty fucking big.
Well, I've seen people with almost the size of a watermelon before,
and they seem to be doing just fine.
Yeah, I mean, pretty big heads, but a tennis ball. Come on.
I mean, my head's almost the size of a watermelon.
I don't know about that. Well,
it's like an 8
half of a watermelon.
8.5.
Yeah, it's like a half watermelon. I can eat a half a watermelon.
You couldn't eat a whole watermelon, really?
I never tried. But I mean, it's mostly water, so
exactly. Thank you for that lovely interjection.
I got an answer from John. What you want watermelon too?
Yes, I want a watermelon.
Okay. All right.
Imagine a tennis-sized ball on the top of my body. It would look even more ridiculous than the next person.
I couldn't imagine the brain capacity.
This is
in
why.
that thing.
This is why I asked that question. That was so funny just to picture it.
Have you been thinking about that a while?
Oh man, you have no idea how long that's been bugging me.
You're just not secure about the size of your head, Daniel.
You know, it's a little small. It's a little small, but and now I'm even more insecure now that you guys would rather have larger. Jeez, Thomas.
I'm okay.
This is what happens to Tom when he starts laughing.
It's true.
The man just gets coughing.
Got the
fits.
black lung.
All right, guys.
Go ahead.
Let's
Tom.
get into this podcast.
I'm sorry.
Don't have all night. We do have all night, but
Well, it's
we
pretty late.
can only record a certain amount of memory here before we can upload it. So
That's true.
anyway, you guys think the Pats are being too passive?
No, come on. This is what they do every year. For the first 2-3 days of free agency, they're passive every.
Yeah,
single
but
year.
how did that work out last year?
We were 12-4 and we made the AFC Championship.
When did we
But-
sign Rivas?
That was the year before we won the
Well,
Super
yeah,
Bowl.
but
We
wasn't
won the
that in
Super
the
Bowl.
first little?
And
Are
we-
they being too passive?
It's hard for me to argue that they are when they've had so much success over the last 15 years.
But what
But
is
they
your
have
measurement
gone
of
out and done
success?
things.
What is your measurement of success?
Well, okay.
Going to the AFC title game is not a measurement of success
I
for
agree.
the Patriots.
I
anymore.
agree, especially for the Patriots and Patriots fans everywhere. The AFC title game is just not enough anymore. I'm sure Teddy Pence and the Bears and Sean Lee and the Bears would love to even smell the NFC title game, but it's just not the same for the
Well,
Pats.
When you
And I agree with you.
every year
every year it's Super Bowl or bust.
Every year we won the Super Bowl. There's a marquee sign. For example, when we won the first Super Bowl, Vrabel, that was a pretty big signer.
Vrabel. Stop
of course,
making me miss the old
Corey
days.
Dillon.
Corey Dillon was
Corey
massive.
Dillon was a
Corey
massive
Dillon was
sign.
massive.
So I mean, we've won 3 Super Bowls since the 2000 era, and every single has been preceded by a pretty big signing.
4 Super Bowls.
Randy Moss. No, 3 Super Bowls or 4.
We have 4 Super Bowls.
That's been a long
It's hard to keep count when there's so many of them.
No, actually, the first Super Bowl I was a Steelers fan. I'll never forget that. But we can go into that another day.
No, we're going into that right now.
Are you kidding me? Cordell Stewart,
What's
Jerome
wrong
Bettis?
with you?
Dude, Pittsburgh Penguins, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Indians,
Jeez.
Philadelphia
Sean,
76ers.
Sean, my whole world has just been turned upside down. I've known you for years. I had no idea that this was the
What
case.
do you want to do to a 7, 8-year-old kid living in rural New Hampshire?
You were at least 9.
Also, rural New Hampshire. Yeah, it's part of New England.
I know.
New England
Exactly.
Patriots.
But you can't.
And also, it's just the best team to attach your name
you can't
to.
call me a pink hat because when the Patriots beat the Steelers.
I didn't call you that. But
No, I'm just saying for all the listeners out there, when the Patriots beat the Steelers that year, I still didn't want the Patriots to win because they beat the Steelers.
and the Rams Super Bowl, you didn't.
No,
You didn't
I
want them to beat the Rams.
No, I was still such a Steelers fan.
Can't
So,
believe.
but anyway,
I can't.
anyway, my age of reason comes later. For
I'm having
some
a panic
children.
attack right now.
At least, unlike some people we know, he came to his senses.
At least he's not like Theodore Pence,
I was
Theodore
gonna name
Pence.
names.
who has been a Chicago
wouldn't-
sports fan his entire life. You're right, John.
There's been
You're better than
there's
Teddy.
been a dislike on every single one of your videos. I think it's him, so just don't encourage him. Don't encourage him.
Oh no, keep doing it. Keep doing it, bro.
No, but anyway, what my point was is that every single year that the Patriots have won a Super Bowl, there's been a marquee free agent signing, and even though we didn't win with Randy Moss, that was a pretty big year.
That was a huge year.
I mean, regardless of whether we won the
18-0,
Super Bowl or not,
18-1.
it was pretty memorable. You know that's gonna go down as one of the best teams ever to play the game of football.
Oh, absolutely.
So we asked it again: are the Patriots being too passive? There have been some real big names out there. I mean,
I guess the biggest question you have to ask is whether or not the Patriots are being too passive. I mean, you look at the Darrelle Revis here, for example. The huge concern was defense and cornerback play specifically. What do the Patriots need this year?
offensive line and
Linebacker, maybe.
Mayo. Yeah, Mayo left,
Mm-hmm.
so we need a
Mayo was a
linebacker.
third string guy. He's somebody you can kind of replace.
Yeah, but obviously, I mean, the way that Von Miller embarrassed the Patriots is you need an offensive line that you at least need depth in the offensive line, a lot more than
I
they
would
have.
also. I agree with you 100%, but I'd also like to bring up the point that the Patriots' offensive line was actually doing just fine, pretty well, until Nate Solder tore his bicep it was. His tore his bicep
Something
and he went out
like
for the
that.
year.
Well, I mean,
and,
But that was
and
against
Vollmer
the
had-
Cowboys.
and-
That was our fourth game because remember Tom Brady was going to be out for 4
Oh, yeah.
games.
Yeah.
So that was our fourth game. So it's not really saying
Oh, I know.
much.
I understand that. And I'm not saying we don't need offensive line help. I'm 100% on board with getting offensive line help. But
We
when
usually
Vollmer
draft
had to-
those pieces.
When
though.
Vollmer had to switch over to the left tackle, he was absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
So-
the reason I would say they're being too passive is because this year we don't have a first-round draft pick, and usually the first-round draft pick is the one position you expect to play the first year.
Wait, why don't we have a first-round draft pick?
It's a tyrannical behavior.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
The tyranny of Roger Goodell.
But anyway, yeah. So
And Goodell-gate.
As we've started calling it on this
Yeah, we
podcast.
refuse to call it Deflategate anymore. It's Goodell-gate.
yes, the reason I think they're being too passive is because I think the one move that they could have made, that they sure could have gotten done, would be to sign Matt Forte. I think out of any running back, Matt Forte would have been a Shane Vereen on steroids for the next 2 years. And I think he really wants to win a championship, and basically the Jets were probably the only one giving him a sweet contract. I think we could have gotten him, and I think we would have been way better off. I mean, because he was injury prone last year, but he hasn't usually been.
He's had some issues the last couple of years, missing 4 or 5 games here and there.
But he always comes back though. It's not like an ACL.
Yeah.
It's not like Arian Foster's out every other year. Actually,
Or
every
Deion
single
Lewis,
year.
who, by the way, is somebody I'm kind of worried about because he's had
Yeah.
3 ACL tears now in his NFL career, which is the first 2 are the reason he wasn't in the league. And now he had a great half season with us, and now he's torn it again. I mean, how many times can you go through that kind of trauma on your knees? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm sorry.
So they're not being too passive, and we have a they're being too passive. If I had to butt in, I would say they. I don't think they're being too passive, just because I don't see anybody out there who's someone who we need.
Yeah, exactly.
That's-
there are pieces out there who can help the team, but most of them,
Yeah,
we
like
can
like
get,
sure,
we can
like
still
yeah,
get.
it would be great to have Forte, and it would be great to have people like Malik Jackson or
Yeah.
whoever. But
Excuse me, Malcolm Brown's an up and comer though.
that's true.
Was our first round draft pick. He better be.
Yeah, and he played great towards the end of last year.
Yeah.
He had a big role.
But yeah, so now that
So take Malik Jackson and give him back to the Jaguars.
imagine having them both.
Oh man,
No,
we're running
I
the
mean,
4-3 these days too.
Malik
so-
Jackson was only so good because Von Miller was such a monster last year.
We have Chandler Jones, which is helpful, and Mike Ninkovich. We
Jamal
have two
Sheard-
solid
Sheard
edge
as well.
rushers. So
Sheard-
it's not like
Sheard's
we
on
have a
off.
bunch of scrubs on our team.
No,
So-
the defense was great last year. I think that was the most underrated part of the Patriots team last year was the defense.
Yeah, the defense kept us in that
performed
game.
above and beyond
Though that's not
expectations.
saying much. We played Peyton Manning.
But they still shut Alex Smith down. They had a good season.
Oh yeah, of course. Anyway, I think we should move on from the Patriots as much as we'd love to sit
But
here and
wait,
talk about
before
it.
we move on, there's still...
Oh, because he's a Patriots fan now.
Danny, I started being a Patriots fan before you were born. I'm still a few
We're like
years
the
older.
same age, man.
No, Tom and I are almost like halfway to 50. That's pretty old. But anyway,
Yeah, same.
wait. But before we move on, there's a lot of names still out there, and I just want you guys to put your say in of who do you think the Patriots will go out and get. So, for example, you have names like Alfred Morris, Eric Weddle, plenty of names out there that could sure help the team. And we're going to sign somebody. It's not like we're just going to sit there. We're looking at C.J. Anderson. We're looking at Bilal Powell. Of course, Matt Forte. Those running backs are all off the board.
Yep.
We need a running back. That's obvious. We can't just have tiptoe up to the line and fall down like Garrett Blunt on our team. And
They're not re-signing.
James White, he
Oh.
proved himself that he kept dropping those balls. He can't be that catching down back, and of
Yeah.
course he can't be a 3-down back.
He's not Deion Lewis, that's for sure.
No, so there's a lot of names out there still, and I'd just be interested to see, who do you think we bring in?
Who do you think we bring in, or who do we want to bring
Not
in?
want, because the wanting period's over. We want Arian Foster to come in,
Ooh,
but that's not going to be a smart move.
I mean, it's always hard to see.
But is it really the pattern of the Patriots' free agency over the last 12 years? Can we see?
Now he feels like he needs to prove himself as a Patriots.
No, not at all. For example, Jabal Sheard, linebacker, defensive end for Cleveland Browns, underrated. I thought he flourished this year.
I think
there were some games where
he
he was
had a
just unstoppable.
great year.
My prediction is we're going to bring in Eric Weddle. He's 30 plus. I know we don't really have a need at safety, but I think we're going to bring him in to convert him into a cornerback.
That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
You don't think they'll just put him at strong safety?
No, I think Patrick Chung and McCourty have it sure
I know McCourty has got it. He's got his job as solid. But
I thought Chung played a pretty good year last year.
To me, it would seem like Chung is the guy who would be more likely to be converted to a corner. I know Eric Weddle's a great player, but he's been a safety and a great safety his entire career. Why do you want to mess with that?
I feel like he's all over the field, playing linebacker, defensive end, cornerback, safety, every position on the defense, always making tackles. I feel like he could be a pretty good cornerback. I feel like that's something Belichick would do.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my prediction. It's outlandish.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bold.
Not necessarily outlandish, but it's a little bit out there, for sure.
I think these guys, towards the end of their career, they really want to get a championship.
Oh, I agree. Which is why we'll be waiting for Calvin Johnson in 3 years.
Is it 3 years? Is that the?
I think
that's
the the Patriots aren't going to buy him out, obviously. So we got to wait for his contract to be up. And I think it's 3 years from now. Maybe it's 4. Brady's last season. His last hurrah. Calvin Johnson comes back when he's 34 years old. And been out of the NFL for 4 years.
I feel like that would look like a Brett Favre Gene commercial. Just old guys.
I would like to see the Patriots give Nate Robinson a shot. I'm not kidding. Just to see what he can do.
The guy's an athlete.
The dude is an
athlete. They would have him in to work out and stuff. Like the Patriots will do that stuff all the time.
Remember Tim Tebow was on the team?
Yeah.
Speaking
of which, if the Broncos lost Brock Osweiler here, they don't have a quarterback, and there aren't really many good options out there, so they're probably going to go through the draft. What about a former Broncos QB who's won a playoff game?
Ooh.
You already have the defense to support him, sort of still, even though Danny Trevathan and Malik Jackson are gone.
It's not going to happen.
Tim Tebow.
Here's a crazy idea. What if the Broncos traded Aqib Talib to the Patriots for Jimmy Garoppolo?
Oh, I'm down with that 100%.
Would you?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't want to lead back on our team. He's an injury, broken wrist waiting to happen constantly. Whenever we need him most, he's going to be out.
Dude, he had a great year for the Broncos last year and didn't get hurt.
That's because God wanted Peyton Manning to win because Tom Brady had a child out of wedlock.
Peyton Manning sexually assaulted him.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Tom Brady's Catholic. I don't think Peyton Manning is.
And Tom Brady sends out emails to all his real fans asking for prayers before games. I'd just like to point that out.
Are you a real fan?
I've gotten one of those emails before.
Are you paying subscriber?
It was last year before the Seahawks game, the Super Bowl. But I still think the reason we won that game is because we were all together watching that Super Bowl, and my brother Benny was one of the many in that group, and he missed the Malcolm Butler interception because he was in the bathroom on his knees praying that the Patriots would win.
No. You can't bring every time.
So he never actually saw it live. He gave that opportunity up just to pray for the Patriots.
What a good, kind soul.
Oh, such a big-hearted man. Such a big man in general.
Anyway, answering questions before we move on to the next segment. Danny, who do you think, out of all the existing free agents still on the market?
I know he's retired. But Jake Long.
Jake Long?
Jake Long.
Mm.
He wasn't in the NFL last year. I think it's a perfect opportunity for him and for the Patriots.
Yeah, well,
to get a top-notch shutdown left tackle.
I think I don't know. We've seen we always grow our defense organically. We don't usually make any big signings or.
Darrelle Revis.
That's
Randy
one.
Moss. Well, that was a trade, but whatever.
I said defensive.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Brandon Browner.
Who was the worst
Keep naming
quarterback
him.
in the league last year statistically?
What?
Keep naming them.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Roman Pfeiffer.
Roman Pfeiffer was on our team first.
Oh
left
wait,
and
no.
came
Who
back.
was
Anyway.
the guy? No. Who was the guy? Roosevelt Colvin. That's who it was. Roosevelt Colvin from the Ravens.
Anyway. Our offense is not like that at all.
No.
So I'm going offensive side of the ball here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not actually sure whether.
Get a little young at wide receiver. Maybe.
Well, that's what I'm. There aren't a lot of options out there.
He's white. He'll work.
We're not saying Bill Belichick's a racist, but
we're saying
but all the best
Belichick's a
receivers are
racist.
the white ones for the Patriots.
I'm thinking. I don't remember whether Sanu got.
He got
He
a
got
5-year contract with the Atlanta
32
Falcons.
and a half million.
And I know Kamar Aiken's restricted. I never know what that means. A restricted
They
free
have
agent.
the opportunity to sign him.
Anyway, I
forward.
think Kamar
I
Aiken
know
would
what
be.
you're saying. Kamar Aiken?
I think Kamar Aiken.
What about your guy, Ruben Randall?
I hate
Your
him.
guy,
I
your
hate
guy,
Ruben
Ruben Randall.
No.
What does John say?
He sat on my fantasy bench for
He could
ages
have
because
won
I had
Tom
no.
like thousands of dollars.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
Yes.
never performed.
Because he had a couple good games, right?
I hate him. Anyway,
Kamar
what we
Aiken.
talked about before. You got into it a little
Is
bit.
Steve Smith?
We got to
still
talk
under,
about
is
this.
Steve Smith still under contract
He's
with
going
the
back to
Ravens?
He's
the
dead.
Ravens, yeah.
He's dead. It was very sad.
No, for the offensive
Thousands of people were at his funeral.
Anquan Bolden's going to come.
I would love Anquan Bolden to come to the
He's
Patriots.
going to.
I hate him so much.
Really?
I
Why?
hate him
Why
because
on
he was
earth?
always on teams I hate.
Well, that is his fault. But still, he's such a talented, tough, just a tough.
He's
guy.
65 years old. Let's get Kamar Aiken.
So
Maybe he'll
what?
be decent. Maybe
He's
he'll be the
65
LaFell
years
that never
old. Oh
was.
yeah, we've never signed a 65-year-old wide receiver before who went on to break the record for touchdowns in a season.
LaFell was LaFell when we won the Super Bowl. Like he did
No,
a
but
lot
he
that
wasn't LaFell. Like he was decent.
He was never
Like, he was-
anything with the
LaFell's
Ravens or
always
with the
been
Panthers.
decent.
He was
decent. He caught 50 passes in a season for the Panthers, and then we were like, "Oh, let's bring on this LaFell guy." He had the best season of his career last year. He hurt his foot, some mystery foot injury in training camp or whatever. He missed the first 6 weeks of the season. He wasn't the same. He didn't have that rapport with Brady anymore. It was too much time off, and also he was dropping passes left and right.
all right.
There were a lot of reasons for Brandon LaFell's fall.
So if you had,
One could say he LaFell from grace. Oh my gosh. Jeez. I'm really jealous of you right now.
so
So bad.
so who starting opening day this fall? Who is going to be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos?
Tim Tebow.
AJ McCarron.
Oh. No, but he's still under contract with. They'll have to trade for him.
No, exactly. I believe AJ McCarron could be an NFL quarterback.
I do too.
Either AJ McCarron or Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I think the Jets,
I hope
I hope that he goes to the Broncos. I think the Jets are going to snatch him back up as soon as they feel like they can. I don't know. They haven't yet, but is
Well, it
he
feels like-
restricted too?
Well, they're way off on their marks. The Jets aren't budging on any more money to give him, and
Well,
because
Fitzpatrick feels like he's entitled because he had a decent season.
well, yeah,
last year.
the Jets wouldn't have been anywhere without him last year.
they also would
Yeah,
have
but
made the
then
playoff.
they
without
would
him.
have made the playoffs without him too.
Okay.
He turned into Ryan Fitzpatrick.
He had a
again in
few
the
bad
Big
games.
17.
Come on. He had
No,
a few
I
bad
understand.
games.
I understand.
The Jets had a really good season last year.
They did.
They
A
lo-
surprising season.
They
to
lost
me.
some close games, but to blame the last game entirely on Ryan Fitzpatrick's a little unfair.
Well, you can definitely blame the last game on him. You don't have to blame them not making it to the playoffs because they could have won other
could've
games.
won
It's
a
not
week
like they
before.
were 15-1.
So, Tom, who do you think is going to be the Broncos' starting quarterback? Defending Super Bowl champions who've lost their starting running back, their 2 out of their top 10 best defensive players.
Yeah.
Their,
Top 10. There's 11 guys on the field.
well, they rotate, you know.
Yeah, but Trevathan's a great middle linebacker.
There's more than 4 defensive linemen on the field.
I
you know,
understand,
in
but
a game.
I'm just saying, Trevathan and Malik Jackson were core pieces of that big deal on that defense.
Yeah, but they still have, you know, their
I think
safeties
Trevathan's
and
the captain of the
cornerbacks.
defense.
Anyway, what I'm saying is there's been about 5 starters,
Mm-hmm.
even offensive linemen that have left, including the sheriff, That starter is no longer in town.
Yeah, starting quarterback.
I think it's going to be Kaepernick.
You think they're going to organize?
He's just the kind of guy Elway would love. Yeah.
A trade? They're going to orchestrate a trade? Okay.
Like, he's a young, guy who's, I don't know, shown some potential. Elway will think that he's some sort of quarterback guru. And
so does Chip Kelly, though. And Chip Kelly's in San Francisco right now, and Chip Kelly loves those running quarterbacks.
He doesn't want to stay, though. He's made that very clear.
Yeah, he has made that clear.
He does not want to stay.
And plus, he's racist, so Kaepernick won't like him.
Allegedly.
All right, well, as interesting as it would be, none of us picked RG3.
I said Tim Tebow as a joke.
That was your pick.
But I honestly do believe RG3 should or the LA Rams should sign RG3. Speaking of RG3, they want to fill some seats. They want somebody who's gonna make a splash, other than freaking Case Keenum.
I think Costco's greeting line should sign RG3.
I think this is a guy who's got still he potentially has a lot of potential, and, which is very kind of me to say. And he's been relegated to the bench the last 2 years because Jay Gruden doesn't like him. Nobody in DC likes him anymore. He can't play, or he couldn't play that 1 year after the ACL tear, but he had such a phenomenal rookie year. It's hard for me to just say that he's done forever. Like, he can't play football anymore. So I would like to see him go. I would like to see the LA Rams sign him, if for nothing else, just to spite Raj. But I'd like to see the LA Rams sign him. He makes a splash. He fills some seats for the new team, the new stadium, and he's not going to be worse than Case Keenum. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
That is for sure. No, that's definitely for sure.
But for sure, Case Keenum's going to be there to play on Sundays. You don't know that for sure for RG3.
You mean with injury history?
That's exactly what I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So keep Case Keenum on as the backup. Whatever. I don't care.
Okay.
You got a guy. The guy deserves a chance.
So anyway, you said RG3 is going to the Rams. Who's going to be the Broncos quarterback if Tim Tebow was a joke? This is serious business. He was a joke
because unfortunately for Tim Tebow and for possibly, 7 to 8 NFL teams.
I just think
he would be better than their quarterback.
I think it's absurd how they let Brock Osweiler go. They drafted him. He was under Peyton Manning. They just won the Super Bowl, partially due to Brock Osweiler. I mean, he did go in there and win some pretty big games. Beat the Patriots. Took home field advantage away from the Patriots.
Can I make a bold prediction?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nick Foles. Broncos QB.
I mean, that's bold, but isn't he a piece of garbage right now? They could just pick him up.
He's still under contract with the Rams, but he's the backup for Case Keenum.
Yeah. Is that more bold than trading for Jimmy Garoppolo?
No, I would actually like to see that happen. Who were you saying would be
Talib? Maybe Von Miller. I don't know.
Right after they franchised him, I would do Talib for Garoppolo right now. Honestly, Garoppolo may be the quarterback of the future for the Pats. He's a great backup right now. He could be. He's got some potential possibly, but it's going to be 3 years at least before he gets an actual shot.
All right, so
Pats can just draft another guy.
So who's the most improved team so far with this free agency?
A lot of people might say the Dolphins, but they're not going to be the most improved team. It's just not going to work out for them. It never does. Byron Maxwell is a shell of himself. He proved last year that he's good in spurts, but he's not a number one shutdown corner.
Well, he played well before he went to the Eagles, and so did DeMarco Murray. So maybe it was the Eagles.
It's possible.
So did Kiko Alonso.
Kiko Alonso is an injury risk. I do like Kiko Alonso's talent a lot and his potential a lot, but he is an injury risk.
But I mean, you got to think
games in the last 3 years.
I mean, there's got to be two ways you look at this. Like most improved, like they were so terrible this year that adding anybody who's like really good would be good. Like someone like the Jaguars, who like
what about the Raiders? Do they count? They had a losing record.
They absolutely count.
Yeah.
Okay. The Raiders.
Like what are the pieces of the Raiders? Because then that's the other way you have to look at it.
I think the Raiders finished 10-6, and they make the playoffs in a wild card spot over the Chiefs. The Chiefs are third place. The Broncos are number one. Still, that defense is ridiculous to me.
You're telling me if Colin Kaepernick or Tim Tebow,
yep,
or
I'm telling
AJ
you,
McCarron.
I'm telling you that they're all just as good as Peyton Manning was last year.
They lost key defensive pieces.
They lost a couple of key defensive pieces. Yes, I still think their defense is going to be pretty dominant. Maybe not quite as good as it was last year. I still think they're 11-5,
So,
12-5.
How about maybe the Texans? Just the fact that they
They're a
got
playoff
Brock
team.
Osweiler.
They're a playoff team.
Yeah, but now they may or may not have a quarterback, which
or may not.
is
May or may
which
not
is
is
the
the key
biggest deal.
Yeah.
My
Not
The-
for the Raiders.
the most-
Defense is the biggest deal for the Raiders.
the most improved team.
No,
in that-
the biggest deal for anything is quarterback.
And Derek Carr he's going to be a solid guy.
Well, didn't the Broncos just prove that the biggest deal was not quarterback this
No.
last year? They did
Really?
not, really? They
No.
didn't prove that you don't need a quarterback to win?
Peyton
No.
Manning threw 9 touchdowns and 17
Peyton Manning had
interceptions.
what with the worst QBR of
We're not
any
talking
quarterback?
about the regular season here.
We're talking about the playoffs. Look at what Peyton Manning did in the playoffs.
We're
It's
talking
pretty
about most
bad.
improved team. So a terrible
How
team
many?
that
I
can
mean,
now
how many?
make the
How many
playoffs.
turnovers did Peyton Manning have in the playoffs?
No, I don't know.
Like
4 or 5.
How many
I don't
touchdowns
even
did he
know.
have?
In the Panthers game in the Super Bowl, he had 2 picks and a fumble. A
No,
lost fumble.
the most improved team, talking about going from worst to remarkably better, is going to be the New York G-Men, Giants. The Giants signed the most lucrative defensive end deal, taking Werner from Miami.
Olivier.
They signed the second most expensive cornerback contract.
Yeah, so
That's okay. That's two
why does
pieces.
it? Tell me why it pays off.
They had, I believe, it was the 32nd or 31st worst defense in the league last year.
Yeah.
Also, they restructured Victor Cruz's contract. They told him basically walk
Well,
or.
good because he didn't.
Well, he didn't play last year. That's true.
Or the year
But
before.
we all know Victor Cruz is a great receiver.
Yeah, if he can
So-
run again.
They have him at a reduced price.
Mm-hmm.
They cut their head coach. They have
Tom Coughlin.
Yep.
May he rest in peace.
They have JPP back for one more year.
Yeah.
So they were able to retain him. Okay. Now, Prince Mukamara, depending on if he stays or not, it'll make them better. But as I'm saying, is most improved. The Giants haven't spent this much money. I believe it's been like the last 6 years. So as far as most improved team, because you couldn't get much worse than the Giants' defense last year, I think that they will have a top 10 defense this coming year.
It's possible. I can see that happening. 100%.
So I mean, as far as most improved,
But then what about other players in their current system developing? That's what I'm looking at with the Raiders. You've got Amari Cooper. You've got
Odell Beckham Jr.
You've got Khalil Mack. Of course, Odell Beckham Jr., but he's already what he is. Like,
I
he's
know.
gonna be
So
that good.
talking about developing players, Odell Beckham Jr.
Amari Cooper's going to be better. Even
Did he,
Michael
co-
Crabtree.
did, did he come in the same year as Khalil Mack?
Who?
OBJ. Wasn't it last-
This year was his second year.
So last year
Yeah,
was
yeah.
Khalil Mack's first year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Just a side,
both
just a
great
side note.
players.
Who would you rather have, Khalil
Oh.
Mack or OBJ?
For what team? That's the question.
New England Patriots.
I'd rather have Khalil Mack.
I think OBJ.
No, dude, can you imagine Chandler Jones on the left and Khalil Mack on the right?
Could you imagine every
dude,
single?
we'd be like the Broncos!
Could you imagine every single one of Tom Brady's passes being caught? Unlike last year.
I know, that's such a...
Unlike
that's
last
so-
year when
that's-
Brandon
I
LaFell
get it.
dropped all those
No,
third and eights.
I know, but
when they
Tom
hit him in his
Brady-
arms.
But Tom Brady's that... He's that good.
Tom
that he
Brady's
can
almost
make-
dead.
Stop speaking blasphemy.
Shut up.
Come on.
Shut up. Go to hell.
We could have those Chandler Jones and Khalil Mack for the next 10 years.
I would rather have Khalil Mack for the Patriots than Odell
That's
Beckham.
fair. I'd rather have
Dude,
OBJ.
Khalil Mack. Imagine having a guy who's going to get 15 sacks for the next 10 years, not 10, but 7 years, say. 15 sacks every season, or around that.
Imagine a guy who's going to catch over 1,200 yards with an average quarterback.
Oh, Rob Gronkowski. I don't know. What
Did he have
do you want from
1,200?
me?
Has he ever had 1,200 yards?
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
the record for tight ends. He was like 1350.
1 year?
Yeah, last year it was like 1,200 or over that. Yeah,
I'd take OBJ. What about you, Tom? OBJ or Khalil Mack?
Mack.
take Mac 100%. Well, it's a tough. I'm not going to say it's not a tough choice.
Plus, I don't really like
is great.
OBJ's attitude.
Oh, come on. Come on. Seriously?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Josh Norman's a punk.
Well,
So-
we don't. Josh Norman's not on the Patriots. You didn't ask us about Josh Norman. Oh wait, yeah, I've been.
It's been distracting me.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't.
Don't you ever say Tom Brady's dead. Don't you ever say that.
It's my worst fear.
Disco is not dead. Remember that movie? Did you ever see that movie?
What movie?
Oh God,
Disco is
the
not
one with
dead.
Ben Stiller where they all pretend to be superheroes.
What?
Are you serious?
Talking about Kick-Ass?
No, it's something men. It's like
Mystery Men.
Mystery Men.
Mystery
Yes.
Men.
Remember the gay? Remember
Good,
the guys? Yeah.
good reference, John. I forgot about that movie.
All right, so the opposite side, on the opposite of who improved the most, who
falls the most?
Who falls the most?
Are you both going to say the Broncos?
The Cleveland Browns.
They have nowhere else to go but down. Or they're already on the bottom. They can't go farther
You can go
down.
negative. You can go more in debt, man. That's how America works. They let basically 5 of their 10 best players leave.
I know. Well, they've got a bunch of lawyers running their team right now who've never been in the NFL.
Well, they did not sign one single key free agent. A team with the most money to spend to try and keep fans coming back.
And they let
They couldn't
Benjamin
go get. They couldn't get Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Khalil Mack. You're supposed to say yeah. They
Wait.
could.
Oh,
sorry,
shoot.
Malik Jackson. They couldn't
Malik
get Malik
Jackson.
Jackson.
Okay.
They couldn't get Werner from Miami. They couldn't get Matt Forte. They couldn't get anybody. Like no one.
Well, why would you want to go to Cleveland? I'm sorry.
I would go to Cleveland
I'm sorry,
if they-
Colby. I'm sorry.
I think he knows.
But seriously, like, what are they doing right now? What are they doing? They didn't get anybody.
They're literally not doing anything. See, that's the thing.
Like the Patriots can't get anybody because they don't have much cap room, but Cleveland has like $90 million to work with and just nothing. Give that to Johnny Manziel on a 16-year contract. Like
Get Brian Hoyer back.
I mean, hey, he was great with them.
He had a great 4 games before he tore his ACL.
I mean, it might have something to do with the new coach coming in, and they don't want to like tie themselves to a
Hugh
player,
Jackson, I think, is
because
the
that can
best
happen
coach.
a lot if you like go and you like sign somebody big
Yeah.
who's kind of a question mark.
Josh Gordon's coming back.
Is he this year?
He's supposed to.
If he
might have
doesn't do
another
anything
violation.
stupid.
He might just drink a beer and Roger Goodell will kick him out of the league forever. But I
Well,
don't know.
who's throwing him the ball? It doesn't matter. if
That's
he's
the
throwing back.
question.
Anyone can throw him the ball; it doesn't matter.
Dude, Josh Gordon's so good when it's on the field. I would trade. Who would I trade from the Patriots for Josh Gordon right now?
Would you trade Jamie Collins?
I wouldn't trade Jamie Collins.
Would you trade
Malcolm Butler?
Ninkovich?
I wouldn't trade Malcolm Butler. I love Malcolm Butler too much.
Nikovich is old. He's going to be.
I would
done
trade
in 2 years.
Nikovich.
Yeah.
Even though I of course,
I
there's
love
so
Nikovich.
much sentimental value with Nikovich, but I would trade Nikovich. I mean, talent-wise,
Would you
absolutely.
trade Dante Scarnecchio?
No. We just had to coax him out of retirement.
No. He's their offensive line.
Please, our offensive line is terrible without you. Come back.
So, Danny, who's the worst? Who's gotten the worst?
This is tough for me. I haven't really thought about this.
I mean, it might not be like they're going to be the worst team, but like from where they were to where they are now, based on the moves.
Oh, man. I don't know. Have you chosen a team yet?
Yeah.
Have you chosen a team
It
yet?
just said
already
the Cleveland Browns.
Oh,
Kobe.
but that doesn't even make sense.
Well, it does make sense. They lost like 5 of their best players. They didn't get anybody. Where they were to where they are now.
Where they were to where they are now. Okay,
Cleveland
let me
Browns
think about
suck
this.
more.
Let me think about this for a second. I haven't been thinking about it. I've been making jokes. I've been doing my part.
All right, fine, I'll go.
Oh, you
This
haven't
is a
gone
little
yet.
bit of a joke, but not really.
Uh-huh.
The Chicago Bears.
They're going to be worse.
I don't care that they got Trevathan. They
Trevathan's
lost.
a nice piece.
They lost Forte, and Jay Cutler is a year older.
Jay Cutler,
That's it.
he's
That's
still
all I
there,
need.
too. He's still
They're
there.
going to be so bad this year; it's going to be embarrassing.
Don't they have a pretty high draft pick? And their number
I
one
don't
draft
care.
pick from last year's coming back this year.
I don't care.
White, right? Their wide receiver, White.
Yeah.
He was the number one draft pick last
It's not
year.
Reggie White, Kevin White, right?
Kevin White,
yeah. Kevin Reggie White's a Hall of Fame defensive lineman.
I'm just saying. I'm just staying on the Jay Cutler hate line,
I hate Jay Cutler too.
and he's gotten a year older, and, he's going to be
it
worse.
just it makes me sick.
The only
it makes me
redeemable-
sick when Bears fans
Are you guys
defend him.
Are you going to ever have a point in the show where fans can call in? Because I feel like this would be.
We would
perfect.
have
when
to
we
get a lot
develop
more.
the technology, yes.
It's definitely developed.
We will develop the technology.
The
when
phone,
we are
the
able
cell
to
phone.
purchase the technology.
The cell phone's definitely been developed. I feel like this would be a perfect opportunity for Sean Lee to call in and defend his Bears.
I agree. But
All this hate.
it's blind irrational faith in Jay Cutler that he's
Or
been
Teddy Pence.
or
Maybe
Teddy Pence as well. It's been the same. He's been the
Save
same
him from
quarterback for 10
disliking your
years.
show
Now. He's
one
the
more
same
time.
quarterback for the last 10 years, and they're still like, he'll get there.
I wish you guys saw
He
the
had
body
Brandon
motion that
Melch.
he just had.
He had Brandon Marshall. He had Matt Forte. He had Alshon Jeffrey. He had Eddie Royal, and he still couldn't do shit.
Yeah.
Oh, he
I mean, as far as, like,
he
skill
still threw
position.
20 picks. I mean, come on.
Like, skill positions, that's like one of the best I've ever heard of.
Their offense without
And they
if
had Martellus Bennett's a great tight
and
end.
Martellus Bennett at tight end, and they had Greg Olsen went to the Panthers, but a while back, Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen wasn't there with Jay Cutler, I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't
he was.
think-
No, for at least 2 years.
No way, man.
At
You're
least
Jay
2
Cutler's
years.
been there a
You're
while.
crazy.
I don't know.
Greg Olsen.
We don't really
Jay
care that much
Cutler's
about
been
the
there
Bears,
since
so.
2009, dude.
I think
Yeah.
Olsen's been on the Panthers that long.
No, Olsen went to the Panthers in like 2011, 2012.
Maybe you're right. But anyway.
We don't care enough about these teams to actually remember.
So, Danny,
That's true. That's fair.
who's your
The worst
who's
team.
your most
It's hard to think of the right word. It's now just like
declined team?
No, you guys think of the
Who's
word
setting
real
up
quick.
for the a much worse year than they had last year because of free agency?
Because of free agency, or just who's going to be worse?
Well, because of free agency / like retirement.
Don't say
new
the
players.
Manchester Monarchs, okay?
Oh, the Manchester Monarchs are playing great. Last year they won the AHL championship for their division or whatever it is. I don't know how the AHL works, but I've been to a lot of Monarchs games.
Those are fun games
They
to
are
go
fun
to.
games. They are a lot of fun games. Oh, geez. Okay, so I'm gonna. Fine. I'm just gonna say the Minnesota Vikings.
What? What?
You asked for a fucking team. I don't think they make the playoffs next year. And that's a decline in my mind. They're a playoff team that doesn't make the playoffs next year.
All right.
Whatever, man.
Whatever.
We went with it, okay?
Okay.
You guys pressured me. I hadn't thought about this, and now it's the Vikings. I hope you're happy.
All right, guys. So we've wrapped up the
Jeez.
extended free agency talk. I hope people are excited about football and our opinions about it.
Yeah, seriously.
We didn't realize how long this segment's been going on for. Tommy, our Mr. Producer, is going to be mad at us.
Mr. Producer's going to be so mad at us for talking about football
So,
this long.
well, we'll just jump into the positive spin zone, our newest segment.
Yeah, let's do it.
Danny, do you have one for me, or do you want me to go
I've
first?
got one for you right now.
All right, so guys, just to refresh, he's going to read an article. I've never heard of it before.
I'm not going to read an article.
He's
I'm
going to
gonna
read
read
a
a
headline, and I'm going to have to put a positive spin on this terrible news. Find the silver lining in the dark gray cloud.
Tom, I know you're going to really appreciate this one. Police drones monitor spring breakers.
Okay,
This is a clear violation of the right to privacy.
the positive, the silver lining.
I mean, there's a lot. 'Cause
Yeah.
spring breakers are rowdy, but still.
The silver,
Clear violation of the right to privacy of U.S. citizens.
the silver lining of the police state is that all the old people will be able to have nice nights of sleep. I don't know. What could be the I don't know.
Read that again, Danny.
Police drones monitor spring breakers without them knowing about it.
Hey, our government is really capable of monitoring people without them knowing about
we
it.
know all
That's
about
the
this.
silver lining of this.
I mean, the silver lining is that it's going to promote chastity and purity. I'm just going to throw that out
That's
there.
fine. That's a great silver lining. But is that the right way to promote chastity and purity? By having a police drone fly over your head, and half those people would be like, "Fuck you, pig," and just do it anyway.
All right, Daniel. I got one for you now.
Hit me. No, I mean it. Hit me.
All right. The Wounded Warrior Project's top execs
Jeez.
reportedly fired amid lavish spending scandal.
I read this, and I almost was going to ask you about it. Oh, I should have thought up a silver lining while I had the chance. Wounded Warrior Project execs.
reportedly
Fired.
fired amid lavish spending scandal.
Well, here's my silver lining. It was one. fucking great party in Las Vegas that night. And they did it for the vets. They live the vets are supposed to live vicariously through those execs, and man, did they have a good time. There's my silver lining. Jeez,
that's good.
That's
good.
terrible, man. Fire them. Jeez, and Wounded Warriors already had its fair amount of problems anyway. Jeez, fire the execs.
Yeah,
get them out of there.
Could I do one as a guest?
Yes, do one as a guest, please, sir.
Okay.
You ask us the title, and we have to put a positive spin on it, or
yes.
do you want us to ask you?
Yes, this is actually taken from the New York Post.
Oh, excellent.
Right. It says that statistics show that teen pregnancy drops off significantly after age 25.
Wait, what?
That should be an unsurprising headline. Today in unsurprising headlines, if you're not a teenager, you're not victim to teen pregnancy. What?
Well, the editor should have been fired.
It's the New York Post, after all. Oh,
the New York Compost.
Yes, there you go. The New York Compost.
Yeah, so I mean that's better than either of the unsurprising headlines that we have.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect unsurprising headline. That is what unsurprising headline was always meant to be. But what do you have for us, Tom? I know you've got at least one.
Well, today in unsurprising headlines, Obama was ready to cede America's control of the internet.
Oh my goodness, he's ready.
He's ready.
He's ready.
He's been ready.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. All right, or just Coke. I'll take both. Either.
What?
A Coke or Coke?
A Coke.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right.
Fine. Jeez. Somebody doesn't want to have fun tonight.
So I just wanted to convince. Actually, I just wanted to quickly, in replacement of Tom's take.
Tom's take.
Yep, you can still give it to me. Okay, so we got this Florida. This is for all the Florida people, and maybe all the other people out of state can either agree with me or disagree with me. But there was a point brought up to me by none other than Brett Baer today.
Oh yeah.
And
I am because I talked to our buddy Mikel Gonzalez about this. So shout out to Mikel as well. Go ahead.
So I am a pro Cruz guy. I'm just going to come out and say
I think we both are. We're both coming out officially as endorsing Ted Cruz.
We're going alongside the likes of Mike Lee and Mark Levin, and I'm sure you'll hear about it on Drudge today or tomorrow. Us coming out and endorsing them, but
it's a big
regardless of that,
could change the tide.
The Florida election is a winner-take-all state, and it's so important that I am actually going to vote for Rubio, even though I don't want him to. I just know Cruz has no chance of winning Florida, and it's much more important that Trump loses Florida.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go out and I'm going to vote for Rubio, and you guys might disagree with me. I don't know, maybe my brother agrees with me. He'd probably be the only one to call me out on it, but unless, I'll take a look at the polls on Monday, and if he's like, Cruz is making a crazy comeback, I'll go, but I think I got to vote for Rubio on Tuesday.
Yeah, Tom, it's a tough subject too. It's a tough thing to do, but I think in this case it's the right thing to do because, hashtag never Trump. Seriously though, Trump is the worst possible thing that could happen to our country, other than maybe Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders, possibly still technically debatable, but that's for a different time. And so yes, I do believe I'm with you here, Tom, that if you are a Florida Cruz or Kasich supporter, you should be voting for Marco Rubio on Tuesday because it's a winner-take-all state, and Trump cannot get those delegates. All right, I think we've done our civic duty.
Don't we have a public service announcement for the people?
For the people?
The people of Southwest Florida in particular.
The people.
In times like this, we might have to do little public service announcements to aid in the community's strifes.
Aiding in the finding of many lost animals or lost items. All right. It saddens me that I have to do this, but missing potbelly pig, black and white accents, small pig.
Go.
This is serious. Small pig, small pig missing for a week now. It's never coming home. Tom took it and turned it into the bacon that he likes. Took it for 40 minutes. Missing for a week now in southeast Cape Coral. If someone has her, please let me know she is okay. I have called animal control, the police department, and everyone I can think of, and no one has reported seeing or having found a pig. Please, if you have her, let me know. Contact me at 544-857-5646. Find the missing potbelly pig, please.
Our heart goes out to that poor pig
That poor
and its
pig
family.
That it's been lost and alone for a week now. There's no way a panther hasn't eaten it. Oh, jeez.
I don't even know about panthers. If I found a pig walking through my yard, I don't know.
That's what I just said.
I know you did.
I hit a panther with my car once. Did I tell you that?
It wasn't a panther.
It was actually a panther.
What did it look like?
It looked like a panther. Fuck you.
Is it a black panther?
No. It was not a black panther. Black panthers are just... Oh, I get it now. No, I would have had to report that. Sorry. Oh, my word. Jeez. It wasn't the Black Panther either. It was going to be featured at the new movie, the new Captain America movie. Which, speaking of which, is kind of a... Well, I'm surprised there isn't more outrage. How we doing? How we doing, Tommy?
We got like 2 minutes.
Alright, perfect. So we can just shoot the shit?
Or we
Game
can
of,
just...
Game of Thrones, come on.
I don't know.
that's
This
right.
seems like such a long subject. I don't think we can actually get into it.
Well,
Well,
could
it's
do
just
quick. We
Jon,
could do quick.
is Jon Snow alive? Let's just do this.
Mhm.
You say yes?
Oh, absolutely, he's alive.
Is he a
And
human?
I
Is
know-
he a human being?
Well, what's your definition of a human being, John?
Is he a White Walker? Or a slave of the Red Witch?
I think he's a slave of the Red Witch. Or at least, I don't know if he's a slave of the Red Witch, but she's the one who brings him back to life.
I say he's a human being again.
Melisandre.
I've actually been thinking about this more. I actually think he's dead. Just based on the books, I would have said he was alive, but watching the shows, I think he's actually dead. And I think the only reason we might see him again is because Arya is actually going to find his face in the Hall of Faces, and she's going to wear her face and be Jon Snow.
Holy shit. You son of a bitch. Wow, you have been thinking about this.
I have been thinking
Now
about
that
it.
now that I hear that theory, I like it. But I still think the Red Witch is going to bring him back to life, and he's going to be like that dude who died 7 times or whatever it was. And
Yeah,
came back to
yeah.
life. But anyway.
Derek Dundarian or something.
Yeah,
Eric
whatever,
Dundarian.
there's so many characters, man.
All right. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. We had a very football oriented talk, and I hope you guys
today's
enjoyed it.
podcast brought to you by the Washington Bullets. Can't leave that out. Sorry.
It's time to change the name back,
It's
guys.
time to change the frickin' name back. Nobody likes the Wizards. Jeez. Terrible name.
All right, and like us on Facebook and
Please.
like our YouTube videos and
Please.
subscribe our YouTube
Please.
videos. And we love you, Colby.
We love you, Colby.
Keep listening to us, Colby.
We enjoy making your...
We love Sean Lee, too, by the way.
Get the fuck out of here. We enjoy making your school or work, school, or baby day that much better. That's Sean Lee's call out right there when we say baby day.
It's his son.
It might be his son.
All right, guys.
We hate the Bears. Cubbies might be good this year, though.
Teddy, don't dislike this one.
He's not going to make it this far. Anyways,
Not going to listen to this.
see you on Monday.
See you on Monday, guys. Yeah. Don't worry about those weekend withdrawals. Just, talk to us. Send us emails. I know that a lot of our listeners have weekend withdrawals. They've told us this. But yeah, just, if you want to talk, the Bro Chat always listens.
All right, guys. Peace.
Peace.